I'm gearing up right now for a spring bear hunt, and with the temperature fluctuations in the spring and in the fall, I need to make sure that I'm wearing the right layers, so I'm going to show you how I layer up for this hunt. So very often in the spring and in the fall, we're dealing with hot summer daytime temperatures during the day. And as the sun goes down, we can get to below freezing. So I need to make sure that I'm layered up, wearing the appropriate layers from the bottom to the top. And that all starts with base layers. All right, so on my bottoms, I've got the Wasatch base layers on, and that also goes with the Wasatch top that I'm wearing here. So the most important thing with these is that that's going to give me moisture wicking abilities right against my skin. When I'm going into the woods and hiking into the tree stand, I need to make sure that as I'm sweating, that moisture is getting pulled away from my body and is able to evaporate properly, and most importantly, just get off of my body so that I don't catch a chill when I sit down. So on top of my base layers, on my bottoms, I've got the hardscrabble pant, and when I'm going hunting, I'm walking through a lot of thick brush, I'm climbing up in trees, I'm spending some time kneeling down on the ground, maybe watching some wildlife, and I need the pants to move with me. I need them to be a tough fabric so that when branches are scratching up against them, it's not hurting my legs, I'm not tearing through the fabric, and I need them to vent. So on these pants, I've got a nice big vent on the side so that while I'm walking and the base layer is wicking moisture away from my body, this allows that moisture to get out. I also need a lot of storage on my pants because I like to bring more than I need into the bush with me. And something with zippers is so good because I can stuff my pockets, nothing's gonna fall out, and I don't have to worry about losing anything on my way. The next piece that I like to add over top of my base layer is the Torrid hoodie. So when I put this on, I'm not only adding an extra layer of warmth, it's a fairly thin layer, so it's not going to sweat me out and add too much heat, but the most important part of this piece is in the top. Everything important in this layer is from my neck up to the hood, and I've got a built-in face shield for concealment, as well as a nice stretchy hood that can go over any hat that I need to wear. If I'm not wearing a hat, it just sits on my head really nice, and I can pull this up straight over my face, and I've got really good concealment. And the reason why I want to put this on as my next layer is because I've got concealment built in now at the bottom of my system. So when I'm layering up, and if I'm out hiking and I need to conceal myself from any sort of animal, I can take off those outer layers that may also have a hood and a shield in them, but now I'm not left without, and I've got it right here on me at all times. Now, as I start to layer up, I'm thinking about warmth and comfortability as things start to get cold, and a vest is a perfect fit for that. So I want a vest that has a hole in the back so I'm safe in the tree stand and I can feed my harness through, but this is a vest that is nice and fitted. It can fit underneath any outer layer without bulking up too much. I still have lots of mobility, but this vest is going to add as a nice core temperature control. So I make sure that, you know, my body's staying warm while I'm sitting, and I don't necessarily need to worry too much about temperature fluctuations as I'm in my sit because I've got this protecting my core, and my arms and limbs are still able to move around. When I pull up the bow, I've got tons of open flexibility in my arms, and I'm free to do whatever I want. Now, the final layer that I need to add to this piece is a jacket. So when I'm looking for a jacket like this hardscrabble jacket, I need to make sure that I'm adding another layer of warmth, and in the shoulder seasons, it can be a little wet. It can be rainy, the weather can change really quickly, and something that has a little bit of water shedding ability is really important without having to go that full dedication into a rain suit. And this is something that's nice and quiet still. You can move a lot in this fabric, especially while bow hunting. I've got lots of flexibility in my shoulders and in the arms. I can easily move around without making a ton of noise. And this is going to just give me that extra layer of protection. And I've got a hood that goes over top, something that cinches down nice and tight if the wind picks up. So this system is really rounded out with the hardscrabble on the top and on the bottom. I've got the same materials on my pants as I do on my jacket. I can vent them. I've got lots of storage. So from my base layer all the way to my outer layer, I am covered for a wide variety of temperatures and whatever the weather is going to throw at me. And that's really the important part of a layering system. I could easily go into the woods wearing a bunch of different layers of random clothing, and they're all going to work against me because they're not going to have that system in place like I have right now with the moisture wicking base layer, layers of warmth on top of that that allow movement and flexibility and concealment, along with a tough outer shell, and that's really what makes the complete system.